The U.S. Ambassador to India, Eric Garcetti, spoke exclusively with NDTV's Sam Daniel, and he gave us a sneak peek into the possible key takeaways during the big meeting. Listen in.
I have with me the U.S. Ambassador to India, Mr. Eric Garcetti. Thank you so much for your time.
Great to be with you. Thank you.
With NDTV.
My pleasure.
What has changed over the last 18 years that has brought about this kind of a close Indo-U.S. partnership?
You know, so much has changed. I think our friendship has deepened. Our partnership now covers much more. And this is really the reflection not only of two men who have great friendship and rapport, two governments that are working closer together than ever, but two peoples who I think feel those bonds of friendship, people-to-people ties and investments in culture, in a common strategic vision of a world, two democracies that want to see a world that helps lift people up and not divides them. So I think this is 18 years ago is a lifetime ago. Right now we face a very dangerous world, but the U.S.-India relationship, I think we're stronger together and we can have an impact in the world when we are strong.
Anything on the Biden-Modi chemistry?
It's amazing. I mean, we've seen it. We've witnessed it. We just saw it in Japan. They, I think, had similar beginnings, you know, very humble beginnings, modest men, who really care about the everyday person, you know, that working person who isn't sure whether they can pay their bills for their home, who wants to put food on the table. And I think they've always connected on that front. But this will also be a celebration of the work that they lead, of two peoples that see the threats in the world, whether it's autocracy, whether it's militarism, whether it's the lack of trade. We want to see a world in which there's more trade and prosperity, where there's more peace on this planet, and where we protect the people. And I think the U.S. and India, you know, 1.75 billion people together are an unstoppable force.
Give us a sneak peek into the key takeaways for India through this meet, maybe in areas like defense, trade, and technology.
Well, I call it the 4 Ps: peace, prosperity, planet, and people. For peace, you'll see, I think, a greater defense partnership of protecting our people and our countries, deepening some of our industrial production, whether it's aircraft engines for our fighter jets, or whether it's looking at the undersea, a domain awareness of understanding how we can preserve free seas and oceans, or whether it's looking at the ways that we can protect and enhance each other's defense. That's one. Prosperity, I think you'll see moves on free trade, where we see barriers come down that have been erected in past years, so we can more freely trade with each other and have more jobs on both sides of the Indo-Pacific. Planet, I think we go from the seabed all the way to the stars. Whether it's the exploration of space or work on climate change, you're going to see a number of agreements that we come together on that will enhance our ability to do that together. And then finally, people. One example will be work to shorten our visa times and to add more people so that we can process Indian visa requests, educational exchanges, cultural arts and sports programs. So the sky's the limit right now, and I think you will see in almost every category of cooperation, the U.S. and India are deepening this relationship.
Armed drones?
We may see. I mean, obviously, being able to have eyes over the ocean to protect it. We've seen the Indian Navy testing ones that have been very successful, American manufactured. And long term, we want to see the ability of India to produce here. This isn't just about selling things to India. This isn't about the money. This is about the prestige of being able to say that we together are protecting the world.
There's a growing threat of a full-blown conflict between India and China, with both sides building up their weaponry and infrastructure on either sides. And how concerned is the U.S. about this, these after recent clashes over the last couple of years?
Well, look, we believe in India. We believe in borders. We believe in sovereignty. And I think we've proven ourselves. Whatever India has needed or asked for, the United States has been there to say, we will respect that and reinforce that, whether it's in the international realm when it comes to resolutions or whether it's on the ground assistance that you need. But for us, we want to see borders respected. We want to make sure that no country threatens India and that no country threatens the sovereignty of any nation. If we don't have that, we don't have peace. And I think you will see that's one of the reasons we have the strengthening defense partnership, to ensure that that is not just for India and the U.S., but for every other country too.
There's been a huge delay in issue of visas over the last few years. It's vacation time. Also, students in the past few years have lost their admissions in the U.S. What's being done to fix this now?
You know, that's of such strong concern to me as ambassador. And one of the things I said, and the president asked me to look at this, is that we have to continue to bring visa wait times. There's some great news. First of all, we are 1/3 more visas than before the pandemic. 2/3 faster than we had at our worst point. But we need to still bring that down and hire more people, which thankfully, hopefully this meeting will make some announcements of more people to process more visas. And we processed more student visa applications this past year from India than any country in the world. So you will see those continue to come down, and that will be a priority for me, and I know it's a priority for the President.
If you can ask just one last question, how sensitive, how challenging and delicate is it for the US over the pro-Russia stand of India, particularly in the context of the Ukraine war? Is the US putting business interests ahead of key values? Does it override that?
So our bond is unbreakable. Our friendship cannot be ripped apart. I believe that in my heart. The U.S. and India are the closest of friends, our people and our government. But we also won't stop speaking out against an unprovoked war of aggression by Russia in Ukraine. I was there personally in February. I talked to mothers who lost their parents in a peaceful building when a missile ripped it apart and took their lives. A mother who's away from her children because she had to send them out of the country to protect them and is separated from a 5-year-old. Let's remember, this is about sovereignty and borders, something I know India and Indians respect. And I think that people understand that, even with historic ties and other things, that over time we must find peace, but it's in no way going to stop the U.S. and India from doing other great things together.
That was the US Ambassador to India talking to us in Chennai with Suresh. Sam Daniel, for NDTV.